Hey guys, this is going to be another quick Linux command video. Check the link in the description for more info and for copy and paste examples. The Linux echo command will basically just print a string of text. So I'm going to show you a few other things or a few more details about this, but let's give you a quick demo. So echo test, and that will basically print out the word test. So whatever text we give it, it will print out. You can also optionally put this in quotes, like so. So there we go, same thing. Right now you can also echo out a variable. Now this variable doesn't exist yet, so var1, right? Now nothing there, so it's just blank. So so let's just create that variable. var1 equals, and I'm just gonna give it a string, some text, right? So there we go. Now if we echo out var1, we're going to echo out the contents of that variable as many times as we feel like. So the other thing we can do is we can say echo and put it in quotes, say this is the value of our variable, right? Now we can put this in quotes too, just like this, and boom, there we go. It says this is a value of our variable, some text. That's a var1 is some text, right? So we can also just to be safe, enclose this in curly brackets. So just a good thing to do in case you have a lot of extra special characters in some complicated script. It's a good idea to enclose your variables in curly brackets a lot of the time. Now, another thing, you can enable backslash escapes. So, for example, echo, if you wanted to echo test/n test, it's just going to print it out exactly as it shows right there. So a /n would be an escape character, and an n is a new line character, right? But it doesn't recognize it in this text. So if you wanted to recognize it, you have the -e option for echo, and now you can print that out like that. Now you can also do a /t for a tab, so you can use your escape characters with it, echo -e. So there you go. You can do basically a new line and a tab, just like that. So another thing you can do is, let's see, disable backslash escapes. So you can do a -e, a capital E, to disable these, but they're already disabled by default. So unless that was set with an environment variable or something, I'm not even sure how this would be a useful. Honestly, I'm not sure how that's a useful option to have at this point, and I have not tested that yet. So, any case, just to be aware, there's basically three options that I've documented anyways: lowercase e, capital E, and an N. So if you do a -n, that will not have a trailing new line. So let's do a more simple test here. So just like this, no trailing new line, right? So let's clear the screen just to show this a little bit better. So normally when you echo out some text, you get a new line after what you echoed out. So if you put a -n here, no new line. So every time it just puts your prompt on basically on the same line as the text that you echoed out. Usually you don't want that, but you might want it sometimes. So you could say echo test and echo -n more, right? If you want both of those on the same line, it's going to echo out test and then more, all on the same line with no new line between it. So if you're echoing a bunch of things in a script based on some logic and you don't want any new lines between them, that could be useful. So in any case, what else do we want to cover with this? So we've covered variables, we've covered all the options. Another thing, a common use case with echo is to echo something into a file. So you can echo my value into a file like output.txt. Now, if we cat output.txt, we can see my value is in it. Now, that's a great thing for creating config files and stuff like that. Now, another thing we can do is if we want to add something, we can say more text, right? And you can overwrite it with two of these like this. This will append instead of, two greater than signs will append rather than overwrite. So just hit enter there, and notice our file now has two lines of text. So you could append as many as you want, and see our file is now growing. Now if you were to, instead of append, you were to just overwrite it like this. Now let's check what's in our file, cat. So there we go, only one line of text because we overwrote it. So one other thing to do is if you want to truncate a file, basically just cut it down to 0, you can echo over the file. So you can basically just say echo and don't even bother to specify any text. You can just echo over the file, and now that file is going to be blanked out. So ls-lh, oops, our output file is now empty. So actually I believe it has 1 character in it. In any case, that's how you can truncate a file. That's useful for log files. So a really useful use case for this is if you have a server that's running, it's like a production server or something, you can't shut the server down, you need to keep it up, you can't stop the server, but this server is writing to a log file and the log file is filling up a file system. So you can't, if you were to delete that log file, the file handle is still held open, so all the space used by that file is still going to be in use. You won't really free up some disk space, and you won't be able to release that file handle until you restart the process, but you're not allowed to restart the process, then you have a problem. So rather than deleting files for something that's where you can't stop the process that's writing to the file, you can, instead of deleting the file, you can truncate the file, just like we did there. You just say echo and output nothing basically to the file that you want to truncate. So that's how you would truncate a file. Next thing you can do with the echo command is you can just say echo by itself, and that's going to give you a new line. So if you just wanted a bunch of new lines to be printed out in the output of your script, you just say echo. Like if you want 4 or 5 new lines, just type echo 4 or 5 new times, and then echo out whatever text you want to have after that. So you could say echo, 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 and then echo my header, or something like that, and it will print out a bunch of new lines for every time you type to echo, and then it will print out the line you want to print out. Now if you want like another new line after that, you can echo, echo again, and there you go. So that's another way you can use the echo command. Now I think that's about everything we want to show you for the echo command. Remember, check the links in the description for more info. Hit the subscribe button for more useful content like this. We also have a ton of other more interesting content covering things like coding, hardware, software, servers, Raspberry Pis, 3D printing, and a whole lot more. Hopefully you found this useful. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on that next video.